Welcome back to Hardball. If people have anointed Mitt Romney as the GOP nominee this year, someone has forgotten to tell the Tea Party. Romney's support has remained flatlined over the past few months. In poll after poll, as I said, his support is stuck somewhere around 25%, generally lower than that. Not a great place to be for the front runner. And one reason for his inability to gain traction in the polls is because the base of the party, and most vocally the Tea Party, have been hesitant to get behind him, even though they know him, perhaps with good reason. In a year when passion and anger at the current president is driving the narrative, Romney has cast himself as the pragmatic choice. Here is the challenge he faces, according to this week's NBC Wall Street Journal poll. Herman Cain is leading Romney 27% to 23%. Rick Perry a distant third now. But among Tea Party supporters, the gap is even more lopsided. Herman Cain has the support of a third of Tea Partiers, Romney only about 21%. So if the predictions are correct and Mitt Romney wins the nomination, what does that mean for the Tea Party movement itself? Will they reluctantly get behind him, or will they perhaps look for a third-party candidate? Or does the choice of Mitt Romney say something about the power of the Tea Party? As the Huffington Post asked in a headline yesterday, will Mitt Romney kill the Tea Party? Matt Kibbe's president of FreedomWorks, one of the largest organizations within the movement, and Steve Kornacki is a political columnist for Salon. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on both within and within outside the Tea Party movement. I am struck. I'm not a man of the right, but I'm struck over and over again by the fact that Romney seems to be the inevitable nominee because he keeps in there, and you guys keep changing who you like. Now it's Herman Cain, and I don't sense you're going to win in the long run.
Well, we might split our vote, but right now it strikes me that Tea Partiers are shopping around. We're checking out all of these various alternatives to Romney because clearly he's the establishment guy, and the question is, can we coalesce around somebody to challenge him? Because if you add up the numbers, if the anti-Romney vote coalesces around somebody,
77%.
We win.
Yes, but you can't. When are you going to get to that point where you can actually knock him out, or he will win? You have to get together, or he will win, right? By definition.
Right. But we haven't cast a vote yet, and I do think that this process is more decentralized. I do think that you could easily see this debate go on for quite some time, particularly if Romney can't get above the 20s, because somebody will fill that vacuum.
Do you guys have? Here's my question: you are so Jacobin, like French revolutionary, that you don't really want an establishment leader. You don't want a John Wayne to tell you what to do. You're all a bit anarchic, and you like to call your own shots individually. Do you want a leader, honestly, a strong leader at the top to tell you where to go to march, like Reagan?
I don't think that that's essentially what we're trying to do.
No, but then how do you get a nominee?
Well, president is one position, but we'd love to drive the process from the bottom up from now on, just like the freshman class has done in the House and Senate.
So let Romney have it and kick him in the butt once in a while?
No, we want to find the best candidate that can win, and we don't think that that's Mitt Romney.
Okay, let me go to Steve Kornacki. We're trying to figure this thing from the inside. The dynamic to me seems like there's always going to be somebody, as Matt says, who will challenge Romney. He always will have an anti-Romney from the right. The question is, could it be that in the end they don't have a strong person from the right? You go to Tampa next September in 2012, and they end up having to sit there with their hands under their butts while Romney wins it. The old establishment of the Republican Party wins again.
Yeah, no, and I think that's probably the most likely scenario, except watching it sort of from the outside, like you're saying, I would put a little different spin on it. I think if Romney comes through this process and wins the nomination, yeah, he's the establishment candidate, but I still think in a way the Tea Party's won in a very significant way if that happens. Because when you look at Mitt Romney, we call him sort of the moderate candidate in this race. We're calling him that because in Massachusetts, a decade ago, 2 decades ago, he definitely was a moderate. And we're calling him that because of the health care plan. And because in this campaign, he's been a little less, willing to go and throw all the red meat out there, unlike in 2008. So that's why we're calling him a moderate. But when you look at his actual positions on every issue right down the line, what they're going to build the Republican Party platform on next September, I really don't see any differences between what the Mitt Romney Republican Party platform would look like next September and what the Rick Perry or even Michelle Bachmann Republican Party platform would look like. He's got the health care thing in Massachusetts, but the Mitt Romney platform is going to say that Obama Obamacare is a socialistic abomination and it needs to be repealed because it's killing jobs and freedom, just like the Michelle Bachmann one would. So this is not, Nelson Rockefeller against Barry Goldwater. This is really just a question of, does the Tea Party, does the conservative base of the Republican Party, feel that they can trust and have confidence in Romney to be that same conservative as president versus moderates saying, we think he's faking it.
Well, Matt Kibbe doesn't. The man sitting right here doesn't have any confidence in the guy.
Well, but think about the other thing that's going on is the Senate is in play, and there are a historic number of targets that we can go after as Tea Partiers, not just in the general, where we think we'll pick up enough seats to take the Senate, but in the primaries. So you think
you can control the next president, no matter who he is?
You're going to have a more energized House, a more energized Senate.
I think you may have a point. Here's a column in the Guardian newspaper. D.R. Tucker said the base of the Republican Party has turned on Mitt Romney because he's the anti-Tea Party, anti-talk radio, anti-government candidate. Quote, Romney will never be able to appeal to those who want limited government. He fundamentally cannot. He is at bottom a center-right candidate who believes that government, when run effectively and efficiently, can produce the best results for the most people. It's a noble view, one that the GOP base seemingly hates him for. If Romney becomes the GOP nominee, it will prove that the Tea Party project was an abject failure and that the momentum of 2010 was only temporary. Romney doesn't represent taking the country back. My question is, does he have enough anger, just emotionally, against what's been going on to be your guy's representative in the general election? Does he feel and act like a Tea Partier?
Well, I don't think it's how he feels. I think it's what he stands for. And if he's going to run on repealing Obamacare, if he comes up with some plan.
But not repealing his Massachusetts plan, which he's very proud of.
Oh, he's very
said so again this week.
And that's his problem. That's his problem with us. And we're not terribly happy about that. But again, the legislative power is going to come from the House and Senate, and we're hoping to drive it from the bottom.
It sounds like you guys are receding from the fight over the presidency and saying we don't have a champion. We'll settle or let Romney have it if he wants to, and we'll vote for him. But we'll control him hand and foot. We will bind and gag this guy from controlling the House and the Senate.
Well, ask me that question in April. I still think that the challenge now is to find someone better.
Thank you both, gentlemen. Thank you, Matt Kibbe. Always welcome. Steve, as always, thank you, sir. It's a short night for us all.